Hello, and welcome to another episode of SkyrimPlus. Today, I'm venturing out to Windhelm to feature Thay's Palace of the Kings by Thay. This overhaul masterfully redecorates the Palace of the Kings to be worthy of an actual king, by adding lots of interesting rooms to the first cell you enter. I think you'll be surprised by how much Thay was able to reimagine this space. If the mod author's name sounds familiar, it's because she's also the mod author of one of the best home mods of all time, Hall. It's a settlement in the Rift with a great backstory, an acquisition quest, a 50k price tag, and it allows you to recruit workers for the property and assign them jobs to generate passive income that you can collect. The property is also adoption friendly, has homes for your workers, a bar, a guest house, a church that you can get married on your own property, a boat that can travel, lots of soils, a trophy room, and a jail. And you can purchase upgrades as you gain wealth. It's quite the experience. She also created Winterberry Chateau near Morthal, Springwood Estate in Solitude, the Sea Dragon Ship Home, Moonlight Cottage outside of Windhelm, and one of my personal favorite homes, Vanfold Cottage, right across from Riverwood. Her most recent release was Thay's Blue Palace Overhaul. This mod added tons of plant life to the courtyard, added and redesigned several rooms throughout the palace, and added an amazing terrace to the back. Just imagine soaking in the sun out here. She did such an amazing job on this place. But now it's time to head inside of the Palace of the Kings to check out her latest work. And here we are inside of Thay's Palace for the Kings. Doesn't this place look awesome? Just in case you forgot, this is the original Palace of the Kings. And here's Thay's Overhaul. Big difference. To the left is a door that goes upstairs to some bedrooms. That's just like the original. Nothing's changed, so we won't go through that door. And the same for the right. That's for the barracks and the jail, but nothing's changed there. But Thay has added tons of new rooms and decoration to the main cell, like this fire pit that instantly grabs your attention. As you look up, you have a detailed ceiling and a chandelier. You have some drapery. Look at those cool birds' heads and the braziers. Then you've got two huge dining tables on either side of the fire pit. And check out this awesome throne with the banners. This is fit for a king. And check out the light pouring in through the windows. Thay made patches for Lux, ELFX, and its enhancer, the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch, tons of Windhelm overhauls, gameplay mods, and several miscellaneous mods. I'll leave a full list of the patched mods in my pinned comment. And now we're entering an armory with a dragon skull displayed in the middle. This is the perfect spot to display your favorite weapons and armor, with several weapons racks and plaques, display cases, and mannequins, as well as trophy basins to display some of the creatures you've slain along the way. Now we'll head down the hallway to check out our next room. And here's where your followers stay. Like the armory, this is a brand new room for the Palace of the Kings. There are a total of 8 beds in here, so just make sure that you have a mod like My Home is Your Home to let them know that this is their new home. And now that we've seen the followers room, we'll head back out and check out the last room down this hall. Now we're about to enter the room of Galmar Stonefist, who acts as Ulfric Stormcloak's personal housecarl. He's got a double bed, places to store his clothes, and a fireplace because Windhelm is really cold. And now that we've finished seeing Galmar's room and all of the other rooms on this hall, we'll head back out and see what the rest of the overhaul has to offer. Here's the main throne room, and now we're going to make this turn and stay between the pillars and the wall to head towards our next room. And here's our next room, the Council Room. This is a room where Ulfric can talk strategy at the map with his generals. This space has had a major glow up from the original space. Just in case you forgot, here's the original, and then here's the overhaul. What a difference. I really love the windows she used in particular. They really let in the light. What a perfect room to plan the downfall of the Empire. Now that we've seen the council room, we'll take a short walk to the next side hall, and while we're doing that, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. For a point of reference, here's the main throne room again. And this next hallway we're going to take is straight across from the armory on the other side. Now we've got some new rooms to explore. Like this kitchen. Here's a large open fireplace with a cooking pot. A dining table with harvestable ingredients above. You've got a bar in the corner. There's an oven to bake some sweet rolls. And a spot to store some dishes. And then through this doorway, you'll find the pantry. You've got storage for drinks, harvestable ingredients, and storage for your meat. Fresh meat, how sweet. Which 80s horror villain said that? You get some bonus points if you post the answer in the comments. And then here's enough mead to fill an army and a butter churn to complete the space. And now that we've seen Thay's kitchen, here's the original kitchen for comparison. And the original pantry. And now that we've seen this space, we'll head down the hallway to our next room. And now we're entering our next room, the workers' room. There are 4 beds in here for the workers around the palace. One is for a worker who's already employed, and you can recruit up to 3 more workers to move in as well. I'll explain how that process works when we get upstairs. But for now, just know they have a nice place to stay. Thay is a modder for the common man. Now that we've seen the workers' room, we're going to head downstairs and check out 2 other new spaces. For you long-time viewers, you probably know I feel the staircase is like the one from Tales from the Crypt. And look at the creepy bird's head staring right at you as you come down the stairs. Alfred Hitchcock would approve. At the bottom of the stairs, you can take a right to go to the garden, or you can take a left to see the room that we're going to check out next, the crafting room. It looks like Galmar Stonefist is enjoying it already. Okay, we're going to go and turn back towards the front and work our way around. Starting in this corner, you've got a mounted mud crab, a place to sit near some Oblivion art. You've got a weapons rack and a display case. If you have a patch for the Mystic Condenser mod, you have one right here. You also have an arcane enchanter with some cool decoration behind Galmar. There's a bookcase, an alchemy lab that's nicely decorated. I like that heart picture, that looks pretty neat. There's some nightshade for your alchemy. And then here's a second arcane enchanter. So if you have someone like Galmar down here and they're in your way, you can just use the other enchanter and you don't have to kick them out. To finish off the space, you have a mannequin in the corner to display some of your favorite armor. Now that we've finished seeing this space, let's head straight out this door to the garden. And here's our first look at the garden. It has its own fast travel marker if you want to travel straight here. In the middle, you have a fountain spewing water onto some greenery. And when we turn, we see pops of color from the flower garden. Here's a juniper tree for those that like making fortified archery potions. And check out this ravishing red tree which grabs your attention as soon as you see it. Through the braziers is a hot pool surrounded by ice. It seems like a nice place I'd want to relax in the cold. Here's a side table with some grapes and drinks. And then here's a pergola with some grapevines covering the roof, providing you with some nice places to sit in the shade. And right next to that, you have both a shrine and a statue of Talos. And then you have another pergola also covered by grapes. And look at these cool chairs. How neat. And then in the last corner, you've got a juniper tree over a bench and a table with some grapes. As we take a step back, we can see the back entrance to the castle. It has 3 of those birds' heads, and then you have the Windhelm banners and a large double door. Now, to save us some time, I'm going to use the power of video editing to transport us back to the main throne room. And from here, we're heading upstairs. You can choose to go left or right, but we're heading right. And I know what you might be thinking. Doesn't the door to the left take you upstairs? Well, yes, but that's in a different cell. Now we can go upstairs in the main cell, and we can take advantage of cool views like this one over the throne, the fire pit, and you can check out the people down below. You also get an up-close view of these birds' heads, and then we get to see another arched doorway, and who doesn't love those? As we head up the stairs, we have some beautiful ivy growing along the wall. You'll also see several guards patrolling this area too, so it's really safe. From here, if you go straight, you head back down the stairs. So for now, let's take a right and check out our next room, the pool room. As we enter the room, you'll notice the ivy growing along the walls. Look at all of these windows allowing the beams of light to come in. You have a couple of fireplaces with an artistic tile design above the flames. And then here's the pool. You have 6 seats for your followers to sit and relax and enjoy the water. And then the ceiling is opened up to show off even more windows, which let in even more light. And here are some more banners to tie this room in with the rest of the home's design. Now that we've finished seeing the pool room, let's head straight across the hall to check out the nobles' quarters. And now we're entering what I would consider the great room. This room ties in the different bedrooms with places to sit and eat. And when we look up, there's a really tall ceiling with more windows, decoration, and a massive chandelier over the fire pit. Now we'll go explore the hallway to the left. As we enter the hallway, we'll go straight to enter our first room, the library. As we look to the right, we find a desk and a globe in front of a fireplace. There's a mannequin in the corner. There's a reading nook by the window, and a large trophy basin. And as we head towards the back, we find what we would consider the traditional library, with tons of bookshelves and bookcases for the bookworms of Skyrim. There's a map to plan out your next quest, and there's an orrery. Look at the cool planets moving around inside of it. The orrery is one of my favorite design pieces, right alongside the Blessed Life tree door and frescoes, with frescoes being my absolute favorite to see. And as we head back out, you can see that we have display cases on either side of this door. Now we'll head back outside of this hallway and we'll take a left, staying between these pillars in the wall to head towards our next hallway. And now we'll take another left to find the first of many of our guest bedrooms. The design of each of these guest bedrooms is similar, so we'll only look through one thoroughly. Here's a double bed that backs up to one of your windows, and here's another window with a tub. There's places to store their clothes, and a fireplace to keep them warm. And that's the basic setup of all of the guest bedrooms. Now your next question is, how do I invite guests if I don't own the palace? Well, I'm glad you asked. There are 3 ways you could roleplay this. The first way is by marrying Ulfric using the mod Obedient Ulfric. When you marry him, a key will be placed in your inventory, and that key allows you to invite guests to stay, workers to come work, and invite your kids to live here. Another way to roleplay is with the mod Conquests of Skyrim. In this scenario, you'd form your own faction and defeat the Stormcloaks, and take the Palace of the Kings as your base. The third way is simply stealing the key from the strongbox in Ulfric's bedroom, and just pretend that you're friends with him and allowed to invite people. Whichever way you choose, just remember to have the key in your inventory when trying to ask others to stay as guests or to work, and use my home as your home for followers to stay. Now, we'll cut through this well-decorated living and dining space to get to the next room. And as a side note, if you're liking this mod, check out my playlist on other homes Dovahkiin Thay has made. I'll link the playlist in my pinned comment. And now we're heading into the children's room. And as expected, Thay has outdone herself making a cool space for the kids to play. Starting in the corner, the kids have a desk for their work. They've got a fire and a rocking horse, a Stormcloak themed tent. Here's a hobby horse, a mini version of Yharem, a table with a sweet roll and a small dining table, and a training dummy so they can become as skilled as their dad, or their mom if you play as a female. And in this room, you have 6 beds for the kids, with stuffed animals on their nightstands. To get the kids to move in, have the key in your inventory and cast the Bless This Home spell from the Hearthfire Multiple Adoptions mod. And then you can ask one or more of the orphans if they'd like to move in. I think I'm going to ask Sophie first. I always feel bad seeing her on the streets of Windhelm looking cold, trying to sell those flowers to survive. Now we have one last hallway of rooms to see before we head to Ulfric's suite. And here's another guest room with a bed, fireplace, and tub by the window. And there are 2 similar rooms further down this hall, but instead of me walking there, I'm just going to show you a couple of aerial shots of the middle and far bedrooms, since we've seen 4 similar rooms already. And now that we've seen all of the rooms on this hall, we're going to head back through the Great Room and check out the last room in the Overhaul, Ulfric's Stormcloak's suite. And here's our first look into his suite. He still has the platform bed, which is a really cool feature. And then he also has these tall ceilings with the windows, like the pool room had. This room's received a major glow up from the original version. Here's the original in case you need a reminder. And now we're back in Thay's version. Now remember how I told you that you could steal the key to the home from the strongbox in Ulfric's room? Well, here it is. Remember that to invite guests, hire workers, or bring your kids, you'll need this key in your inventory. Just past that is a safe for Ulfric's valuables, a fireplace to keep you warm. There's that impressive pedestal bed again. Some cool pillars with those bird heads. There's a tub by the fireplace, how romantic. And then as we move into the corner of the room, just past this pillar, we'll find a Shrine of Talos. I think it's kind of appropriate that it's hidden, given Skyrim's current political climate. Along the back wall is a wardrobe, there's a chest for additional storage, and that completes Ulfric's suite. So now that we've seen all of the features of this home, it's time for final thoughts. Thay's Palace of the Kings vastly improves the original version, both in decoration and function. It provides a visually pleasing throne room, a renovated kitchen, a renovated council room, a new impressive armory, a new followers room for 8, a new workers room for 4, a new children's room for 6, and did I mention how much I like the decoration? 6 new rooms to invite guests, as long as you have the key in your inventory. There's a new room for Ulfric's housecarl, a renovated crafting room, a new library, a new great room, a new pool room, a renovated master suite for Ulfric, and my personal favorite, the garden. I just really like spaces with pops of color, and this garden delivers. It also looks really good at night. If you're looking to spice up a familiar spot, make sure to add this overhaul to your load order. This concludes my feature of Thay's Palace of the Kings. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified of when I post, and as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.